there's a lot of forwards. It shows a lot of forwards, but which is good. It shows that, a lot of them are stepping up. It really is great to see a lot of these players, some of them who are getting their reward for playing well. Maswanga is one of them. Mofokeng is also one of them. Hello everyone, and welcome to today's episode of The Corner Flag. You are here with your favorite host, Deshane, and as you can see by the title, we are reacting to Hugo Broos' choices for the national team, right? So earlier today, he announced his squad to take on Zimbabwe as well as Nigeria in the upcoming FIFA World Cup qualifiers. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's not waste too much time. And yeah, let's get into it, man. Let's go ahead with the goalkeepers first of all, of course. And predictably, he went with our number one, Ronwen Williams. There's Bruce Vuma, Veli Motwa, as well as Ricardo Gus. So no real surprises there. I think we expected as much. And let's go on to the defenders. There's Sydney Mobi, Innocent Maela, Given Simango, Kuliso Modao, Siabonga Ngezana, Thabiso Munyane, Nkosinathi Sibisi, Muthobi Mvala, Terence Mashego, Grankekana, Thapelo Morena, Obri Mudiwo, Thapelo Toki, and Thabo Moloisane. Which is good. I mean, it's a pretty decent, defensive lineup, I'd say. It's great to see Siabonga Ngezana, of course, coming in, especially after winning his first ever title in Romania with FCSB. So congratulations, and it's great to see him, making it into the lineup, especially because he's having such a great vein of form right now, and he's achieving a lot, man. So I think it's just well deserved at this current point in time. And he also went with speed. We see your Thapelo Morenas are there, your Terence Machevos are there also, your Mudiba. So no real surprises here. One thing I would say is I really would like to see a few more overseas based players, man. So especially in that defensive pairing, Sia is great, but I also would have liked to see someone like Philip Sandler as well, right? But apart from that, I think the defenders are pretty good. So we're going to go over to our midfielders now, and with our midfielders, he went with Tabo Mokoena, predictably, Batusi Obas, Grant Magerman, Spapelo Sithole, and Jaden Adams. It's a good lineup, a little bit thin though, right? If you ask me, I'd say that the midfield department has traditionally been our strongest point. We always usually had a plethora of, really good and reliable midfielders. And it's not that it chose bad midfielders now, but I do think there's a little bit of a dip in quality compared to the depth that we had, right? So Spapelo Sithole is fantastic. Thabo Mokoena is also really good. That was our midfield pairing while we were playing in the AFCON that just passed, right? And they're playing fantastically well. I see also added Batusi Obas there, who is good on most days also, right? Jaden Adams is one for the future, fantastic super sport player, but also I do think he needs a lot of development, especially in our youth teams, right? So it's also great to see him here, but I think definitely we need to develop him in the youth teams as well. And Grant Magerman, he's an okay player, right? But that's just the problem with me. He's okay, right? He's not like world class, you know what I mean? I feel like that's always just been the difference between us and Nigeria, and why we lost to them the last time around also. Sometimes we bring players that are good, but they're good for PSL, right? They're not necessarily world class talent, and it's apparent sometimes whenever they go up against a team like Nigeria that plays with a lot of world-class talent, you know what I mean? So I think, there's just a situation of depth there. I would have liked to see someone like, Tele, who has been fantastic, has loads of experience, has been playing overseas for a really long time as well. Also great workhorse, box-to-box midfielder, has great passing range as well. But we haven't really seen much of him, so it's really disappointing to see somebody who was developed in the youth teams like that, showed a lot of promise, and now he's not being utilized, especially at the age of 26. So I think he would have given us a few more options in that midfield, right? But yeah, also very good player as well. But yeah, someone who you think is missing in the midfield also. I think one of the things I keep saying, right, is one of the greatest tragedies is we'll never get to see Spapelo Sithole and Mongani Zungu playing in the middle at the same time, especially when you're playing against a team like Nigeria, right? When you need the double defensive block and a double pivot, you definitely need a player like that. And let's go over to the forwards finally. And for the forwards, we went to Themba Zwane, Patrick Maswangai, Tsepang Moremi, Everest Makgopa, Mihlale Mayambela, Devin Tyrus, Mlondi Mbonjwa, Elias Mokwana, Presita Asuna Palace, Ikram Reiners, Lau Fasta, and Rilebuhile Mofokeng. So yeah, there's a lot of forwards. It shows a lot of forwards, but which is good. It shows that, you know, a lot of them are stepping up. It really is great to see a lot of these players, some of them who are getting their reward for playing well. Maswangai is one of them. Mofokeng is also one of them. They've been doing a fantastic job for Pirates, so it's great to see them here. Ikram Reiners as well, and Asuna Palace. They were there in the AFCON. Didn't get too many opportunities, but I guess this is just the consistency of building on that team. So it's great to see them as well. Evidence Makgopa, we can see he's here. I don't really know if he's done enough for me personally to justify his place. Yes, he was a starter at the AFCON, but honestly kind of felt like we went with him because we didn't really have too many options, right? But yeah, he's here as well. Persita as well. Themba Zwane we always knew about. Are there any players that I think we would have wanted to see? Ayanda Sisho has always been one that we've always been crying about in South Africa. So we'll see how that goes. It's great to see Lau Foster has been included back into the lineup again. We definitely are going to need him, especially because he's back and he's playing. And hopefully, you know, by the time the game rolls around, he'll be in top form. And he has been playing consistently for Burnley as well. So unfortunately, they have been relegated, unfortunately. So he might be playing in the championship, most probably, you know, assuming that there aren't any Premier League teams or anything like that that come for him. Hopefully they do. Hopefully they do, but he did sign an extension fairly recently, so that might just, you know, bump up his price tag a little bit. So we'll see how that goes on his end. And yeah, man, I think that's just that brings us to, you know, the end of our video. Let me know if there are any players that you personally would have liked to see in the squad, and if you are happy personally with the squad that was chosen by our dear coach Hugo Broos. Please don't forget to, of course, like, share, and subscribe to the channel as well. We are, of course, going over to our goal, which is 500 followers and 500 subscribers. So we are really close to that. Thank you all so much for making that possible. I have been peeping that as well. So until next time, I will see you again in the next episode of The Corner Flag.